Well, it's Thursday wrestling, and you know what that means today. So we got NXT UK and, of course, Impact Wrestling. So today we also don't have the. I thought we were gonna have a more on Road to Daku, but it's not even televised. But instead, I'm going to replace it with an event that took place on WrestleMania week called Ladies Night Out. So all of that will be reviewed, discussed, and talked about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So let's begin with NXT UK. It started out with the match between Joe Coffey of Gallus and, of course, Eddie Dennis. Now, if you all recall, a week ago, it seems that there was some unfinished business between Eddie Dennis and Joe Coffey when Gallus appeared on the Supernova sessions. So it looks like we're gonna have a war between two different factions, the Gallus and, of course, Eddie Dennis's faction. But this match was so tells the story who was the best. Now, as you know, the Eddie Dennis is a very sadistic kind of person, a mastermind. But Joe Coffey did not allow this to happen. But you know for a fact that Eddie Dennis had always a plan. So he had his goons, Primate and T-Bone, interfering. But luckily for Joe, his brother and also Gallus member Wolfgang showed up to even the odds. And of course, it did help and he won the match. But the real question is, is this over, or Eddie Dennis will continue to reign on the path of Gallus? As you know, Gallus were trying to reflect it on the recent loss. As you know, Wolfgang and Mark Coffey lost the NXT UK tag titles to Pretty Deadly, but we'll see where they're going to go from there, because this is going to be an interesting direction where they're going to take them. Now, as soon as this happened in the back, while they're celebrating Joe Coffey's victory, he bumps into someone that Joe Coffey has faced before. I'm talking about Rampage Brown. Now, I don't know why they're revisiting this thing, because as you know, these were two men who face each other. Joe Coffey is determined to face the best, and so did Rampage Brown. But I don't know what's the significance of but it would be another interesting to see who was going to win. But problem is this: if you're going to have a storyline with Eddie Dennis and T-Bone and Primate, I would say you drop one of these guys and put a good story. Because if this is between Rampage Brown and Joe Coffey, I would pay money to see that. Now, the next match we have Dave Mastiff, who wanted to teach Sam Gradwell a lesson. As you know, Sam Gradwell is a big talker. He talks too much. He never shuts up. After what happened last time, Dave Mastiff blocked him out. So, but I did not expect in this particular match. Okay, Dave Mastiff is a huge dude. You know, that's why they call him the Bomber. But somehow in this match, it showed Sam Gradwell is trying to prove a point. Now he's a loudmouth type of individual if you follow the whole thing. But now I did not expect him to overcome Dave Mastiff, but he did. As you know, he I don't know how he reflected after losing to Ilya Dragunov, but it looks like he is now trying to make a move. I don't know if they're giving him some sort of a push, but we'll see where they're going to go with him down the line. Next match, we have Dani Luna taking on Jinny, who's being accompanied by Joseph Connors. Now, Jinny has invited Dani Luna to join her because, she thinks that she will be a valuable asset, but Dani Luna is not the type who would just join Jinny because she wants to be her own person. But instead, she turned her down. Jinny took offense to it. But in these type of matches, Jinny will have Joseph Connors. She did the same thing to Piper Nevins. And of course, Jinny won the match, but once again, she continues to beat her down while Joseph Connors trying to set up a message. But here comes Dani Luna's closest friends, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrew, to the rescue. Now, I wouldn't be surprised and down the line that Jinny would have another guy to join her little crusade that she formed. But the real question remains, who would be that guy who would fit the standard? That's the obvious question because if you look at Joseph Connors, he is now following Jinny, who believes that he is more worthy than anybody else. But who else could be in that same type of predicament? Well, I don't know. But we're going to see what's going to happen. Now, last week we saw the rivalry between two former best friends turned bitter enemies, Kenny Williams and Amir Johnson. As you know, Kenny Williams turned on Amir Jordan, and they ended up in a match last week where Kenny Williams wins. Now, Amir Jordan busted into Sid Scala's office demanding a rematch. Now, Sid Scala actually talked to him about it, and it turns out Kenny actually agreed. But however, he did have a stipulation. If Amir Jordan loses, then he has to leave NXT UK. Now, Amir had a little thought about this. So it turned out that he had to make a choice, so he did the obvious. He signed the contract, so if he loses, he has to leave NXT UK. And I think that match will take place. No, it doesn't say. But we'll see where they're going to go. I thought I wrote it down, or it was never mentioned. But we're going to see where this is going to take place. Now, as you know, many times over, we have seen new superstars come in down in NXT. The last man was Tailman. So it turns out Tailman will have his first a new opponent who's now targeting him, and this person, his name is Rohan Raja. I'm assuming this guy is part of the from India. As you know, WWE has now introduced people down from India, and that is something we're gonna see. And of course, this match will take place the following week. Now, the main event is a tag team match between Shaw Samuels and Noam Dar taking on Mustache Mountain. This match became a bit of a rivalry. As you know, Shaw Samuels believed that Noam Dar is the real star, that he should have been the one competing for the Heritage Cup. As you know, Noam Dar did not go that far. He lost to Trent Seven. But it seems like Shaw Samuels and Noam Dar are trying to prove a point that they are the real stars. But you cannot dismiss the Mustache Mountain are the better team due to the fact they have been one of the most successful tag teams in NXT UK, and of course they won the match. I love Mustache Mountain. Even though people don't pay attention to NXT UK like as I have, but I love Mustache Mountain. So they picked up the victory. So there's going to be some interesting things, and one of these matches next week we got to pay attention is Ivy Valkyrie, who is undefeated, taking on the last boss, Kato Satomura. So can't wait to see that. But let's move on with Impact Wrestling right now. Okay, so we got Impact Wrestling. It started out with a tag team between the K, Black Taurus, and Crazy Steve taking on the Good Brothers. Now, this particular match was set up because the K were stalking the Good Brothers. This happened due to the fact that the Good Brothers lost the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team titles to Finjuice, who are currently in Japan, but they will make their return on Rebellion. So basically, they were in a big, major funk. Because many people are upset that, oh, of course, you lost the tag titles to another company, which is the sting that Impact Wrestling roster members and staff do not want to have. So I think now the pressure's on them, knowing that okay, yes, we lost, but the match itself kind of told a story that yes, we need to get back in our A game. We need to be in the, and that's one of those stories you have to tell. Like it tells, yes, we lost the titles to another group from another company, but now they're getting back to their A game. They actually won their match by applying the Magic Killer, but of course they claim that they will reclaim the tag titles at Rebellion this coming Sunday. And I forgot to mention Impact Wrestling. This is Impact Wrestling's go home show before Rebellion this coming Sunday. Now, the next match, we have Susan along with Deonna Purrazzo taking on the number one contender for the Impact Women's Championship, Tenille Dashwood. Now, this was a very unusual pick because if you guys are pro wrestling fans, you guys know what I'm referring to. You cannot put a heel versus a heel in this type of match. You can get away when you have babyface versus babyface, but heel versus heel is going to be different. But I have to say, this particular story is a little interesting because, as you know, Tenille Dashwood's all about me, and then we have Susan, who we saw what happened. Hardcore Justice. Su Young came back out of the blue. So that is something that kind of fits into the whole thing. But however, I did not expect for Tenille to overcome it because A, you got Deonna Purrazzo by her side, and B, I don't know how Deonna Purrazzo would feel if a guy like Caleb with the K would, do something that, because Susan, she acts like, I'm going to report you, that sort of thing. I'm like thinking, I was expecting something like that, but no. Tenille Dash would overcome it and won her match. But however, this is kind of similar to what happened in NXT. If you recall, you got Tail Valkyrie, now known as Frankie Monette, saying now that it wasn't for her, the women's division would not have been where it is now. So she acts like she taking the credit, and that's exactly what Tenille Dashwood did. And I'm like thinking, they don't need to put this, because I would have thought, okay, Tenille would have said, it's all about me, and it will always be about me. But I'd expected in certain ways that Deonna was going to punch her or have some conversating words saying, "You're nothing. I am the virtuoso. I am the best." I didn't see that. I mean, I would have expected that out of Deonna, but no. Sorry, but no, it didn't happen that way. But I don't know what happened, but we'll see down the line at Rebellion this Sunday. Now, as you know, one of the matches set for Rebellion is Brian Myers versus Matt Cardona. Brian Myers had these words to say about Matt Cardona, saying that, oh, this and that, because Matt Cardona, he goes out saying that he's following his coattails, but that's not true. Matt Cardona did say it was just a coincidence that he got signed there. I mean, it is, but not for Brian Myers. And also for Rebellion, we got the last man standing between Sami Callihan versus Trey Miguel. Now, this is one of those matches that it tells a story. Now, Sami Callihan has been saying for months that Trey Miguel has no passion. And of course, people say that's not true. We saw how passionate he is. Where does this merit comes from? And I like how they're saying that. Even everybody's been saying that Trey Miguel has passion. There are those like Triple XL said the same thing, that they don't believe he has passion. Even then, and then you see on a clip where he's at his old wrestling academy with his mentor, and his mentor made some interesting comments saying, "You don't need to prove anything to me. The only person you need to prove is yourself," and that it said that. So it's kind of like Sammy saying, "You need to prove me that you have passion." Like, Who said that he needs to prove it? He doesn't need to prove it. He has already shown it. And that's why the last man is standing is going to mean something, because it tells the story. So I can't wait to see that match. The next match, we got Shera along with Rohit Raju taking on Jake Something. Now, I can tell you there was no story build up here, but I can tell you they're giving a little bit of airtime with Shera, who is after returning for who knows how long. He was part of the Desi Hit Squad. I don't know exactly where they're gonna go, so they decided to pair him back with Rohit Raju. This is gonna be interesting, but you know Rohit Raju will do anything as possible to ensure Shera wins, and that's exactly what he did. So Shera won his match. Now, as you know, this coming Sunday is Rebellion. We have title versus title. Rich Swann had a very interesting promo where he's not only fighting for himself, he's fighting for Impact Wrestling. Even majority of the staff and wrestlers, with the exception of the Good Brothers, believe that the Good Brothers think Kenny's gonna win because he is the guy. Others saying he's representing Impact, that's who's gonna win. But of course, once again, you know, Don Callis and Kenny saying one winged angel, that sort of thing. And of course, Kenny thinks he doesn't belong to be in at the top of the main event. But however, an old foe showed up, and I'm talking about Moose. We haven't seen Moose since he lost to Rich Swann during a unification match. But Moose kind of put out an interesting fact. You see, I talked about Moose before. Moose has set out himself to be a wrestling god. That's what he said. But Don Callis would not take that lightly. I always say that. But I think that Moose was saying, like, I'm better faster, I'm better fit than Kenny. So he felt that it should have been him to face Kenny. Because Moose has proven himself time and time again, saying he is the best wrestler in the world. But Don Callis will not take that lightly. But no, it didn't happen that way. And then, but he did state that if he loses, he will have to deal with Moose, which of course is not like a threat. It's more like it's a promise. Now the next match, we have Kiera Hogan along with Tasha Steelz of Fire and Flavor taking on Jordynne Grace. Now Jordynne Grace is set to be in a knockouts tag team match with a mystery partner that we don't know who it is. Fire and Flavor are set to put the knockouts tag team titles on the line, but the match did not go exactly like that. It ended in DQ. All things touch Tasha Steelz. Both Hogan and Steelz continued to beat down, but all of a sudden, we saw who was the mystery partner that Jazz says, I got you. I got the perfect partner. And that partner is former NXT star Rachel Ellering. Now, for those who are new to the channel or getting into pro wrestling, if you guys don't know who Rachel Ellering is, Rachel Ellering is a second generation in the wrestling business. Her father is known as Precious Paul Ellering, who was a wrestling manager. He managed one of the greatest tag teams in all time. I'm talking about the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, and of course recently the AOP, Authors of Pain. And I have to say, this is a very interesting person that she'll be teaming. I'm down with it. But of course, Steelz and Hogan, they're not. But they have to put the titles on the line. Now, the main event was a one-on-one match between Eric Young and Eddie Edwards. Now, this is a rivalry where Eric Young and the rest of his faction, Violent by Design, believe that the world belongs to them because the disease has taken control, saying that everything's violent by design. But however, Storm and Chris Sabin, who known Eric Young for years, don't know what happened to him. So basically, they try to talk sense into him, but you know how that is. Doesn't work that way. But you can expect in this particular match that Violent by Design would attack Eddie, and then you got Eddie's team right there ready. But the match ended quickly as soon as that distraction happened. It did allow for Eric Young to pick up the victory, but the fight continues on both sides. So this is going to be a very interesting war between both groups down in Rebellion. So I'm going to end the episode with something that's already happened early in April. This one is from Ladies Night Out. It was actually broadcast on the Title Match Network. It's all it's all women's wrestling. So let's review that right now. Okay, so let's talk about Ladies Nights Out. This one was broadcast on the Title Match Network. This took place on the 9th of April, which is around WrestleMania week. Now, these particular matches is all women's. There are three title matches, two sanctioned from two different promotions, one actually being part of this event itself. But let's go from start to finish. Now, keep in mind, there are some women I do recognize, others I don't. So I apologize in advance if I don't recognize them. But if I skip ahead who won, it's because I don't know who they are. I don't know much about them, but that's how it is. First match, we have Alejandra the Lion taking on Danny Mo. These are two women I don't know, but it's a very interesting match. Like I said, don't know much about them, but to be honest with you, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna watch how this is gonna go. But I can see Alejandra the Lion is more of the aggressive type, and she kind of like was putting Danny Mo in her place. But of course, you can expect someone like her who would pick up a victory to win the match, and that's what happened. Next match, we got Rochelle Rose taking on Roxy. Now, I am familiarized with Roxy, but not Rochelle uh, Rose because I don't know who she is. Roxy, if you guys must know, she was amongst the women who spoke out against Joey Ryan. But I have to say, I really like Roxy. She has a very fiery personality when it comes in the ring. But like I said, I didn't know what to expect in this match. But I kind of was thinking, okay, I'll just enjoy the match since I'm not familiarized with the opponent. But it was good. Like, I'll give it between 1 to 10, probably a 7. But or just enjoy the match, you know. But it was Rochelle Rose who won the match, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But like I said, I'm familiarized with Roxy. Now, the next match was supposed to be a one-on-one matches, but this one was turned into a tag team match. We got Holiday and Genocide. If you guys are not familiarized with Holiday, she is the tag team partners with Thunder Rosa. Genocide, I've seen her many times over, and they're set to face Viperous, Viperous and Harla O'Hara. What I like about this match, what I've seen so far, is Holiday and Jenna. They seem like they can get along, but they can get the job done, no matter the circumstances. And I like that. I like how, like, okay, maybe they don't agree on things, but but all that matters is trying to get the W. That's how I see it. And of course, that's what they did. Holiday and Genocide picked up the W. They won this particular match. Now the next match is a sanctioned title match. This one is for the Hurricane Pro Wrestling Championship. I heard of this brand, this promotion, but I'm not familiarized too much. It was for their champion is Heather Monroe, an independent legend. I've seen her a few times, but taking on Lady Frost, someone who I also know who she is. It was a really, really good match. I have to say I like that. But it was good. I have to say I did not. I was like enjoying everything about it. But it didn't have no story build up or so. But I think it was a really good match to watch. to my surprise, Heather Monroe retained the title since she's the champion. The next match, we got Jordynne Grace taking on Lady C. You probably say, whoa, whoa, whoa. J-Rod, then isn't Jordynne Grace with Impact? Yes, but keep in mind, Impact are allowing their wrestlers to be at independent promotions. Unlike WWE, there are other promotions like AEW that do that. Trust me. But it was a very fun match. As you know, Alley Cat, I've seen her many times over at GCW, one of the toughest girls in that promotion. But it was great. I love how this match played out. But I was a bit biased because I didn't know who was going to win. But I'll tell you who did. It was Jordynne Grace. I mean, yeah, that's how it is. I'm cool with that, you know. Next match, this one is for the Mission Pro Championship. This one is from Thunder Rosa's promotion. Sky Blue taking on the champion, La Rosa Negra. Awesome match, but mostly I saw this match, La Rosa Negra becoming the more dominant one. So you can guess from that in fact, she was going to win this. The next match we have Jazz taking on Kiera Hogan. And of course, Tasha Steele's right there. But you don't want to mess with a legend like Jazz. And that's exactly what Kiera Hogan got. It was a really good match. And of course, Jazz had to deal with Tasha Steele's around the corner. But their little involvement did not help that much. But it was good. Now, the main event is for the Ladies Night Out Championship between the champion, Ivelisse, who I recently just mentioned that she got let go by AEW, and Su Yung. Now, this particular match, you can guess in every aspect. Majority of the fans I was witnessing were supporting Su Yung, but Ivelisse is a much different edge type of competitor. Now, like I said, there was heat that she had with AEW and all this. I cannot deny she's an excellent wrestler, a great competitor. But whatever her attitude is, I can see why. I can say the same thing about Kanye West. Because look, I'm going to try to put it in a bit, not a comparison, but you can understand. Kanye West is a great musical genius. But however, outside of it, it's the same thing with Ivelisse. Now, Ivelisse is an amazing athlete, but however, whatever the attitude she has, it's kind of like not allowing her to succeed. I just hope she gets her things together. But the match was great. It ended with a submission, and because if you guys don't know this, she does have a background in MMA, and that's always a good thing to watch. But overall, what did I thought about this Ladies Out event? I have to say I like it. I enjoyed it. I wish there could be more events like this for women, of course, but that's how it is for me. So I say I give this one a pass, and hopefully we can see more of these types of events down in the future. Now, before I go, I'm going to give you guys a news update. This one really, really pissed me off. So let's talk about that right now. Okay, so here's the latest news update that happened yesterday. All of a sudden, a picture coming from Mickey James's page shows a black trash bag. I'm like, what? Am I seeing this? And all of a sudden, it turns out Mickey James calls out Vince saying that she asked for a care package and this is what she gets, a black trash bag. I'm like, what is going on? And I had to look it up. Turns out that she asked for her care package and all of a sudden she gets this. And she posted all over. Everybody on Twitter saw this. Not only just the fans, but other wrestlers. Even Stephanie McMahon and Triple H saw this and they apologized to Mickey James for what she did. I mean, this is not really, really cool. It's not. I'm like thinking, who in the hell is this person? And recently, I just found out that they fired the talent communications, Mark Carano. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, Mark Carano, you may have seen him on Total Divas on a few times on certain occasions when he talks to the women. And of course, they fired someone else there too. Now, I don't know how this went from that. I mean, look, I understand Mickey James was let go, but how do you disrespect someone like that by sending them a black trash bag with her name on it? That is really, really, I have to say, really, really dumb out of their part. I don't know why these people did that, but the good thing is these people who did this are fired and they deserved it. So, very classy. Very classy. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So, there'll be more coming up soon. So, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.